Hey guys, it's John at Midnight Paint and Body here again, and in this video we're going to go over some basic dent repair. Okay, so I've gone ahead and removed the bed cap, the fender flare. If you're doing this on your own truck, you don't really have to. In this case, there's some rust forming around where some of the parts were rubbing, so I'm going to clean those up for the customer while it's here. So we're going to start working the dent out. So when it gets to this, use a little finesse with your tools. You don't want to just go cranking on it and having a big high spot in your metal. Use what you've got sometimes. In this case, I'm going to start, get some pressure on the low spot and start hammering in the high spots a bit and try and get this back into shape. So let's give this a shot and see what we get. Okay, so while the camera was off, I've gone ahead and worked that out a little more. I've got it to where I'm happy with it for body filler. So a lot of body work is feel. Like 90% of body work is feel. If you can feel it, you can see it. So check it over, make sure you don't have high spots. A little bit of low is okay if you're going to put some filler on it, but not much. But the high spots are what'll get you. If you end up with high metal after you put your filler on, then you're hammering and you're grinding it back out and messing around. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this ready for filler. You don't need 36 grit. You don't need to grind the crap out of it. I'm starting with 60 grit, and then I'll finish it off with a small disc, get into any low areas and clean it out good. So before you put your body filler on, you need a little bit of a tooth in the metal for that filler to bite into. So that's what we're going for here. Okay, so we've got that cleaned up, ready for some filler. Now, one of the things you need to keep in mind, always go well beyond your dent. You don't want to just try grinding out a small little area, putting filler in that small little area. Always fill out past, because you're going to bring that filler down to where it's level. So, all that's left here, we're going to blow this off, and I'm going to go and mix up some body filler with you guys. Okay, moving on to mixing some body filler. Now, lots of guys have their own preference, of course, what filler they use. Like anything, you get what you pay for. I've discovered this Evercoat Z-Grip filler. There's part number 800-282. I really like this filler. It's a good price point, and it's just a really nice filler to use. So just a tip for you guys. Like I say, you may have other preferences, but. And then spreaders, everyone has preferences as well, metal or plastic. I go either way. I'm going to be using a plastic spreader on that truck because it's got some different concaves and contours in it. So when you mix up your body filler, going to add your hardener, of course. Of course, you know, we add more, it's going to kick faster, warm weather, whatever. Lots of different things play into it. But when you're mixing it, don't stir it, okay? hold your filler, squeeze the air out of it. If you stir it, you're leaving air trapped inside, you're going to get pinholes. So that's just another little tech tip for you guys. Applying your body filler, of course you want to squeeze it into that tooth you've made in the metal with your first coat. Make sure it's really in there good. And of course the smoother you can get it on, the less sanding you're going to have to do. But I do like to put it on fairly thick myself. The majority of the body filler, you're going to be sanding off anyway. But I like to do it when I can in one coat. If you start stacking coats of body filler, you're going to have edges and you're going to have more work when it comes to priming and blocking. So get it on as uniform as you can. Try and squeeze out those air bubbles, just like we were talking about with mixing. All right, so while the camera was off, I went around the box side a bit, started feathering out some of these rust spots that were, just needed to be taken care of. But we're ready to start blocking the body filler. Now again, you don't need a bunch of expensive tools if you're just starting out or fixing up your own truck. In this case, I'm going to use a flat block and a round block because this bedside has a real contour in there. Now this was a piece of hard packaging rubber, makes a good sanding block. This is a rolled up magazine and it works great. I have a lot of other tools. I've got a lot of store-bought blocks. These are kind of my favorites. So let's start knocking this down. So I'm starting out with 40 grit paper. I'm going to knock the top off of 40 grit to start get it going, and then I'm going to switch to 80 to finish it off. Alright, so you get the basic idea there. You want to take the filler down, keep running your hand over it until it feels good. This needs to go down a little more, but at this point I'm going to switch to a finer sandpaper. I'm going to go to an 80 grit. And we'll keep blocking that down and then I'll come back to you in a minute. So I've switched to 80 grit paper now. I'm going to finish taking the filler down. There's a little more sanding to do. So again, keep checking your feel. If you haven't really developed, the feel for the bodywork yet, sometimes a paper towel between your hand and the body will make you feel a little better. You can always, close your eyes, use the force, pretend you're Luke trying to get the lightsaber out of the ice cave. So that's feeling pretty good now. For my next step, I'm just going to blow it off. We're going to check for any pinholes in the filler. Yeah, I do have a couple of small pinholes there. So that's where I'm going to switch to like a finishing putty. We're just going to squeeze a little bit into these pinholes, sand it again. And then I'm going to finish sanding the rest of the box side. And after that, I will see you guys in the paint booth. We're going to put on some primer. Hey, I'm back. So we've got the truck into the paint booth now. Got kind of the rest of the sanding done here. Got her masked up. I've got the whole truck sheeted in plastic. So let's go mix some primer. All right, we're going to mix up a little primer for the box side on the Ford. So I use the PPG shop line products. I really like them. You may use something different. So what we're going to be doing on this one will be a coat of epoxy primer. That's for the bare metal. So once that sets up, give it 10 minutes, we're going to be doing 2 or 3 coats of the high build primer on top. Alright, so I'm all done priming. I've given it 2 coats of high build primer on top of the epoxy primer. So that's what we'll be sanding to make the surface level. But I'm going to leave this job here for now. But I will do another video doing the prep and paint if you guys are interested in seeing that. Maybe consider subscribing to the channel. If you're interested in seeing any of Midnight Paint and Body's past projects, go have a look at the Facebook page. More recently Instagram, but most of the older stuff is on Facebook. Okay, thanks for watching. I hope it helps you out with your projects, and hope to see you soon.